remaining enthusiastic and celebrating the festival of making everyone also enthusiastic. So you see that all weak thoughts are the creation of a weak state of mind or weak state of being. So when the state of being is full of enthusiasm, so when I, the soul, am in a state of enthusiasm, then weak thoughts don't emerge. Yes, have you seen that? When you are involved, in when you are in a state of enthusiasm. So you can create that state in many ways, but have you experienced that whenever you are in a state of enthusiasm and zeal, at that time weak thoughts don't take over you? Yes, so that is the thing. And if you just keep yourself in that low state, without zeal, without zest, then in that state there is a lot of creation of weak thoughts. So you see that when there is dirt all around, yes, so when there is dirt all around, then in that environment, or when it is damp and moist and dirty, and in that environment, then mosquitoes will grow. And then if you make an effort to just clean the mosquitoes, just remove them by any method, if you're just doing that effort, then it will not yield much result. But if you make effort to change the atmosphere of the room, then those budding and the birth of those mosquitoes will be less and less, and then it will finish. Similarly, Baba says that when you are not full of zeal and hope and enthusiasm, at that time all the weak thoughts come, and then you are trying to when the soul is weak, then the soul is not full of power, and at that time anything becomes difficult. Even harmonizing sanskars, doing small work also becomes very laborsome. These days people say even getting up from the bed is a big task. So little things will start troubling you, or little sanskars, little clash of sanskars will start troubling you. So in that state, if you're using your powers to deal with little things, then a lot of your power will be used in that. Yes, let's say somebody gave their opinion, just a little opinion, but you will get so affected by it that you will spend a lot of power to tolerate and adjust on just accommodating that opinion, and just trying to let go, or just trying to adjust with that situation. So Baba says when there is no enthusiasm, then that situation is like a powerless state, and in that state everything becomes an effort. And have you seen that when people describe the problems and difficulties they are having with doing work or harmonizing sanskars, or facing some challenge, some little things which they call as challenges, and you listen to them, you feel like it's such a little thing, and why are you so messed up in this? Yes, and there is one brother, and He's not very old also. He's just 60 or 62, I think, of physical age. And then whenever he meets me, he tells me that, I have to take care of the bank work and I'm retired now, and these people create so much of confusion, and last time they did this and this time they did that, and little things he would just keep elaborating on. And he would say it's such a nuisance, you have to go to the bank, and they are such those people don't know their work, they are not cooperating, this that. And when he describes it, I sometimes have the thought that it's not such a big deal. Why is he having so much trouble getting along with that? So that's because, when you are weak, then everything looks like a big thing to you. Yes, and even if somebody is suffering from weak sanskars, even in the Lokik family, if they are parents or grandparents or somebody who have certain sanskars, maybe they are very finicky about cleanliness, or they are very finicky about keeping they are very finicky about money, maybe, or this person stole that person did that, and these little things also will disturb you a lot. And then you will always keep questioning, why are they like this, why are they doing like this? So what Baba is telling today is that these weak thoughts and the feelings and the environment that you create is a consequence of no enthusiasm in the soul. And in this environment, you use a lot of powers and unnecessarily, because you're trying to harmonize sanskars, get work done in a weak state. So when you're weak, little things will take away all your power, and you will have to use all your powers that Baba has given to do little things. Yes, and I remember there was this one session where Shivani Ben was asking that, what would you do if somebody did not wish you good morning when you entered the office? And there were many answers, and then there was somebody who said, I would forgive them. So it was very interesting that you will have to forgive somebody if they did not wish you good morning. So where are you using your power of forgiveness? Just think about it, that if somebody not wishing you good morning is able to trouble you so much that you have to use the power of forgiveness there, then your powers are being wasted in very little things. Yes, and then sometimes, when you think about where you're using your power to tolerate, then you will see that it is very little things about harmonizing sanskars. Like, let's say the maid cleaned the house and then she did not put the mats in place, and then you get so irritated that you are using a lot of power to tolerate just for that. And just think about it, for little things we are using so many powers, and our powers are getting wasted. We could use our powers and create satyug. These powers are so wonderful. If we used our powers for seva, and if we used our powers in facing the challenges that came in swapurusharth, but we are using our powers in these little things. And Baba says this is because you don't pay attention to remaining full of enthusiasm. So most souls, even Brahmin souls, they are mostly in a depleted state or in a hopeless state most of the time. And the thing is, you have to create enthusiasm. Now, how do you create enthusiasm? So, you always create a state of enthusiasm by putting your resources to good use. So enthusiasm is a product of using your resources well. So if you're using your mind to create positive, powerful, purposeful thoughts, then that will create a sense, create enthusiasm. And there is a sister, she has started undertaking the course, and yesterday was her third day of course. And she shared something very beautiful. She said that, when I called up a friend who is also a colleague in my office, so the moment he picked up the phone, he just said, इतना स्ट्रेस है लाइफ में, इतना स्ट्रेस है, मैं क्या बताऊँ, इतना स्ट्रेस है, so much work, so much stress, so much work, so much stress. He started doing that. And then I said, why can't we just say, life is great and everything is going great, and why do we have to always start with so much stress, so much stress, and then I also have to play along with you, and then I also have to give the impression that I also have work and stress. So let's just change this culture. So you see, the way you think, the way you speak, because these are your faculties, these are your resources. You have the mouth, you have the mind, you have the you have the ability to do work, so you have the body. So if you use all your resources well, so if you speak positive, powerful, purposeful words, if you think powerful, positive, purposeful thoughts, and if you always use your physical energy to do seva, then that creates enthusiasm in you. If you just waste everything, so there is this thing that Baba has said, that waste creates weight, and weight will make you very burdened. So it will not allow you to fly. So whenever you're wasting, it pulls you down. Whenever you're wasting your all your faculties, whether it is the money you have, whether it is the energy you have, whether it is the ability to speak or think, if you're using them in a wasteful way, then it sucks all your enthusiasm. So, and if you are using them productively, then it creates enthusiasm. So have you seen that? So when you're using your time, energy, thought, you're using your resources, they are multiplying. So whenever there is program and Brahma Bhojan and Bhatti, at that time, generally, on the next day, when anybody comes to the center, they ask me, you must be tired today. But the interesting thing is, those are the days when we are most charged. Because although, in Kali Yuga, you think that the more you sit and waste your thought and energy, the more you will be, charged. It's not like that. The more you use them productively, the more enthusiasm you create. So resources always multiply when you use them. So this is a Kali Yugi belief system, that if you just keep your resources idle, then maybe it will give you happiness. No, it doesn't work like that. So the more you use your ability of the intellect and mind in churning knowledge, the more you analyze Baba's Gyan, the more you use your ability to speak, to cheer everybody up with Baba's Gyan, and the more you inspire and you kind of fill everybody with that enthusiasm by using those words, or the more you use your energy and money in seva, then that creates enthusiasm. And Baba says, you stay enthusiastic and also create enthusiasm in others. Because when you are full of enthusiasm, then others are also, they pick on that energy. They also start joining hands with you, and you create that environment where everybody starts doing something. So Baba says, and you see, sometimes, I think that as Baba's instrument, it's also a very big duty to create seva. So creating seva, involving everybody, and keeping everybody enthusiastic. So whether it is organizing manthan classes in which the faculty of your intellect will be used, whether it is organizing bhattis in which you will use your mind to remember Baba, whether it is organizing Brahma Bhojan and Seva and programs so that many souls take benefit. Why are all these things done? To create an atmosphere in which everybody will do something and create enthusiasm out of it. Because if you do nothing, you get nothing. And if you use your resources, you create that state of enthusiasm. And in that state, those all that time and energy that you use for just creating weak thoughts and then dealing with them, that will be saved. Because when you are not in an enthusiastic state, you will create weak thoughts and you are the ones who will deal with it. So you will dig the well and then fill it. That's what you're basically doing, and it is not amounting to anything. So what we are doing is, when you are in depression, so depression, we have this 1930s when there was the Great Depression. Then Keynes came up with the idea that you just dig wells, and then fill them, and that will take you out of depression. But why dig a well and then fill it? Why not do something productive? So we are doing, why not make something productive out of it? Make something that will be used. So when we are in depression, we get these ideas, just create these weak thoughts and then spend all your energy dealing with it. But Baba says, don't do that. You create something productive and use all your energy in it, and then you will not have energy to create weak thoughts. Because when you are free, when you are not using your resources to good use and they're lying idle, then you start using them to create these weak thoughts. And I will tell you something very interesting. Whenever somebody starts describing a bad day, so whenever they say this happened and that happened, and then this person said this and I felt very bad, and this happened, that happened, then I usually ask them, was that Sunday or holiday? And they will say yes. So the problem is having free time. And I genuinely believe that all problems start on a free day. So whenever you're free, your mind is free, your buddhi is free, then you start doing all the nonsense with it, and you start digging a well for yourself, and then you jump into it, and then you spend time coming out of it. This is basically what we do whenever we are free. And I in Hindi always say, Sara chakkar velle hone ka hai, which is whenever you're free, so all these things start. So I basically feel that it's very good to be it's it's good to be in an exhaustive state, even if it's not, you will never be exhausted, but just use everything exhaustively. So whenever you are using all your time, thought, energy, money exhaustively, then you have nothing left to waste, and then you don't create any nonsense, don't spend any time, energy dealing with that nonsense you created. So this is something that I feel. And if there is somebody who is also dealing with the same situation which I just described, the best way is to fill them with something, engage them with something that fills them with enthusiasm. So creating that environment where other souls also find their enthusiasm. So, and this is why, whenever there is a program, we would ask everybody to, prepare something, prepare a skit, prepare a dance, prepare something, 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 so that all your energy is used in that, your qualities are used in that, because all your qualities, your energy becomes your enemy if there is no platform for using it. So Baba says this is something that you should also do for others if they have that free time and energy, and that will help them to come out of their weak thoughts, and then the all the mess they create by that weak thoughts, and it will save them from using their powers in such an unproductive way. So this is Baba's blessing, and it is very beautiful today, and I really like this because I see souls around, and I see how not using their resources to create an enthusiastic state is putting them in that hole where they are sinking deeper and deeper inside. And the human soul is so full of potential, and if you don't use your potential, that potential is going to kill you. That's the basic thing. So we are all victims of our own talented selves if we don't use them properly. And this is why it's a responsibility I have to fulfill for myself, and it's also an aspect of seva that I do it for others. So this is something. And then today Baba is talking about Baba says that there are some children who will not be able to have yoga. So even if they try, they can't have yoga. And what are the signs of those children? What is the activity in which if you engage, then you cannot have yoga? So Baba says, if you have the habit of seeing dirty pictures or reading dirty stories, then that will spoil your attitude, and you will not be able to have yoga with Baba. And you see that sometimes, we don't understand that what we see and hear is affecting not just our mind, but it is affecting our attitude. And there are very direct examples also which can be given, but let's start with something simpler. Have you seen that if you watch stuff which is based on crime and crime, then your attitude becomes one of mistrust. So if you are watching a lot of crime series, then you will always feel that anybody who's coming cannot be trusted. So that attitude changes. So what you see, what you hear will change your attitude. If you are watching a lot of horror, then your attitude becomes that of fear. So I remember, there was this one Mata, and she came and told me that, Didi, my daughter is saying that there is a ghost in her room, and she sleeps alone and she has her own room, and she's saying that there is a ghost in her room, and I would like you to come and inspect the room and tell me if you sense that vibration. So, she gave me that job of an oja also. So, in the in the world, you have those people who deal with ghosts. So obviously that was not the point, but I thought, okay, let's go and see. So obviously I am not the one who removes ghosts, but I knew the matter is something else. So I said, okay, I'll come with you. And one day I just went to her home, and then she took me to her daughter's room. And in her daughter's room there was one desktop, one laptop, and one mobile. And then I said, just open the history of this laptop and desktop. And then when she opened the history of that laptop and desktop, so all the searches were related to ghosts and horror, and all the movies that she watched were horror movies. And then I told her, the ghost is not, on the wall. The ghost is inside this. And it's coming from there to her mind. So you have to clean this up so that she stops watching all this. And then, she was also surfing, which Chalisa to chant, and what is the method to remove ghosts, and she was doing all of that also. So, and she was learning about all the places that are haunted and this and that, and then she would say that a ghost keeps creeping on the wall. So I said, no, it's creeping from the laptop and desktop inside to your mind, not on the wall. And then the mother, what she did is, she removed the laptop, desktop, and the phone, and she said, you are on a digital detox and you will not be given anything, and that's what the tantric has suggested. So this is the way your ghost will go away. And after some days the ghost went away. So you see that we don't understand that whatever we are seeing, hearing, is changing our attitude, and our attitude creates our perception. So you see through your attitude, and you see, yoga is all about seeing the invisible, seeing the pure, seeing the purifier, seeing Baba, the ocean of love, experiencing Baba, who is the highest consciousness and the purest, the most subtle. And for that, your attitude has to be very clean, very pure, so that you can see and experience Baba. But if your attitude is so tainted, if it is tainted by these kinds of sights and sounds, then your vision of Baba will also be colored by that. And you will never be able to experience Baba. And I just talked about horror and crime, but there are lots of other stuff also that people are watching these days, and violence, and somebody the other day was saying that these days people are seeking stuff which is very, very violent. So violence and torture and these things also people are watching and enjoying. and then lust, depths of lust, people are watching. And just think about what it would do to your attitude. Yes, can you ever see Baba with that kind of attitude? It is impossible. So you and our all our perception is based on attitude. That is why people who watch dirty stuff based on lust, especially lust, all their faculties, the buddhi is so soiled and spoiled that you can never see and experience Baba. So Baba says that one has to be very careful about watching stuff, and then Baba says reading also. So if you're reading dirty stuff, because whatever you're reading is playing on your mind as pictures. So reading whatever you read is also becoming part of your imagination, and you're playing it on your mind and seeing it with your buddhi. So that also has the same effect as watching stuff. So Baba says, if you engage in this kind of a thing, then obviously you cannot have yoga with Baba. And also, when you have yoga with creation, you have yoga with the creator of that creation also. So every mundane creation, so-called creative art, so these are all destructive arts are called creative arts these days. So whenever you are watching a movie or a play or anything, so all that is the creation of somebody's buddhi, and that's a vikari buddhi. And then you are also getting colored by that buddhi, and your attitude, perception, your thoughts, your thinking process is getting influenced by that. And do you know that when you're watching news also these days, it's not news, it is views. So earlier, so do you remember that when there was news on Doordarshan, so they said this happened and this happened. It was not like they did this and they did that. But these days, the news is not news, it is views. So whenever you are listening to news also, it is, so you're listening to who the news person is blaming also. And you're listening to their perception of the whole event. It's not the event that come to know about. It's their perception of the event that you're listening about. And that perception has a lot of backward linkages. So it is motivated by commerce and politics and this and that and the other. So you must understand that you will become like the one who you are listening to or watching stuff that they are creating. And although all these people in the world are very, very vicious, so beware of what you are listening, seeing, reading, because that is changing your attitude. And one thing is about positive attitude, negative attitude. But the second thing is, with that kind of attitude, you can never experience Baba. Because experiencing Baba needs a very clean and pure attitude. And all these things taint your attitude. So this is something. And I think, you can't even listen to the Murli properly with that kind of conditioning. Because let me tell you something. Have you seen that when you have read something yesterday, then the way you understand today's Murli is on the basis of what you read yesterday. Yes, so let's say you listen to a news yesterday, and then today's Murli you feel like Baba is talking about that news. So Baba is talking in line with that which happened yesterday. Or have you seen that? One day somebody told me that when you do the manthan, then sometimes we feel that the manthan is about tomorrow's Murli. And tomorrow, when we listen to the Murli, we feel like we did this manthan yesterday. So I said, it's not like that. It's like that colors your attitude. And then with that attitude, you listen to the Murli. So when you listen to Manthan and then the Murli, that's a good way to do it because you are getting a clearer picture. But when you listen about old stuff, mundane stuff, or you are always thinking about, things that are happening every day, then you are also listening to the Murli with that perception. And then what Baba is giving you is not actually registering, you're only reiterating what you know. Or, you're only connecting those dots with Baba's Murli. So this is also something that we have to be careful about. Okay, Om Shanti.